Would you work for free? Would you work for nothing, even if you've spent a long time, say, I don't know, writing a book or developing a course that might help people? Would you expect to work for nothing and just give everything away for free, even though you've got debts coming in and bills and various things to pay for? It is strange because I say that and most people would go, well, I'm not sure that I would. Why would I? But there does seem to be a very small fraction of people that seem to think that in the so-called freedom movement, that everything that is offered has got to be free as well. Which is a bit of a strange thinking. So picture yourself there having spent years of writing and making discoveries of various things, putting your ideas down into, say, a book form that will inform other people about something that they've not possibly thought about before, or revealing truths which are going to improve their lives. And imagine that's taken you some time, say a few years, to do such a thing, and then you release it as a book. Which has cost you either to have it printed yourself or for somebody else to go and publish it and say, well, in order to publish this, there's going to be a fee, of course, of some description. We'll take it, and you know how books work. Well, imagine then somebody saying, well, no, actually, I think I should have that book for nothing. It would be a bit bizarre, wouldn't it? Or if you've managed to come up with a course of treatment and protocols to help people who perhaps had medical intervention or want to improve their health or their state of mind or understand spirituality. Imagine that you've managed to sort of work that out into a number of courses that will be nice and clear and easy for people, and it's going to take you time with those people to sort of get to a point where they have revelation or whatever it might be. And then they're expected to say, well, I'll have that course, I'll have that information, I'll have it all for nothing. Can you imagine that situation? Now, I've been having a few emails from people who are saying, I'm not watching your channel anymore because it seems like your guests always are selling a book, or they're running a course, or they're trying to make money on the back of whatever it is they do. And they get a bit upset. But that seems a very strange attitude to take. For example, over the years, because people have been sending me books. Last year, I had this amazing book by Fergus O'Connor Greenwood called 180 Degrees. He came on the show and he did sell on the back of that a lot about it. But he told us a lot about the book, what was in the book, and no one was forced to buy it. But I can tell you, I read it from cover to cover, and it is an absolutely fantastic book, especially if you're sort of beginning your journey of what's going on down the rabbit hole and what sort of nefarious things are happening. And some of the chapters are quite difficult to comprehend in terms of, really, did that really happen? Have people really done that? And he gives quotes, and it's a lot of information. Now, I know it took a lot of time to write that. And why? And this is, so it's a big tome of 800 pages. You wouldn't expect someone just to be able to say, well, I'll send out thousands of those for absolutely nothing. I mean, the poor bloke would go bankrupt, but it seems that some people think that that's what you have to do in the freedom movement, which I find is a bit weird. I think a lot of people are doing stuff as best they can. They're giving talks, they're going to places, they're helping people in the background as helpful as they can. But we've all got bills to pay. We've all got those enforcement officers banging on the door, asking and demanding for money. Well, perhaps not all of us, but maybe more of us will be if we stand up to them a bit more. A book that came in the other day, and this is called What Really Makes You Ill, Why Everything You Thought You Knew About Disease is Wrong, by Dawn Lester and David Parker, who, by the way, Dawn Lester is coming on the show at the end of February. Yes, to plug the book, but to tell us about what's in it and how important it is that one understands what's going on in the world, particularly in the pharmaceutical world. Now, this only came about 2 days ago, and it's one of those books that once I opened it, I couldn't put it down. I was reading that going, oh my goodness, really? Blimey, how about that? It's not, a lot of it's not necessarily news to me, but the depth of the research and the concept and the discussions are absolutely enjoyable to read, and B, very revealing and giving me more evidence of what I thought was the case. And they talk about various things like the medical profession, and how perhaps going to your GP and going to hospital and the various medicines that they give you may not be quite what you thought they were, and they go into great detail about it with evidence. Also about the thing that we recently were all told was the best thing since sliced bread, that the medical intervention that we've a lot of people have had injected into their arm, and subsequently we've seen these images all over social media of people dropping down dead, rather surprisingly, although not surprisingly when you learn what was actually in it and what its purpose was. And this, curiously enough, was written before that. It was published in 2019, and doesn't know when this was written that that was about to happen. But the chapter on those medical interventions, beginning with the first letter of my surname, you know what I mean. I daren't say it on this channel because, you know, medical misinformation. Well, what is misinformation? It's just information that may not be agreeable. It doesn't mean it's true or lies. It's just information. Anyway, that doesn't matter. And the book goes on to talk about all sorts of things: infectious diseases, germ theory. It talks about animal diseases and the poisoning of the planet, which is fascinating. And of course, we know that the planet is being poisoned. We know that there's geoengineering going on up in the skies with all the chemtrails. We know the water has got all sorts of weird things in it that's being treated, and very much fluoride is being shoved in certain parts of the country, in the UK and in other parts of the world as well, and the results of that is not very helpful to us. But also there are other ways that we're being poisoned that we may not realise, such as the EMFs, the electrical magnetic fields, the potential of 5G coming in, radiating our brains, but also in the sort of the cosmetics that we wear, the sprays that we put onto our body, the detergents we put into the washing machine, the washing up liquid that is putting a chemical on top of the plates and things, in very small incremental ways. Even in the very clothes that we wear, chemicals have been used which are detrimental to our health. And the book goes on to suggest why they may not be such a good idea, and how you can get back to a more healthful type of life, which I think is worthwhile. And because it's written and is 800 pages and there's a lot of it, I can't see why anyone would expect, again, the author just to hand these books out willy-nilly, because, again, they would go bankrupt. And also the value is in the fact that they've been paid to be able to do the research so that the knowledge that is passed to you is at least deemed to be reliable. Otherwise, people would just write any old crap or get AI to write it for them and have somebody print it off and then say, there you go, how about that? So it is a strange notion. I only mention this because people have been in touch saying, oh, you know, why is it that people who come on the channel, the guests, they're all trying to make money? But let's face it, we're all in the same boat, are we not? We've all got bills that we don't want to pay. With the price of food and the price of living is going up. We all got to do our bit, and we're all trying to help humanity as much as we can. So don't expect, I mean, I don't expect you to go to the farm shop where they grow organic food and suddenly turn around and they say, oh, don't worry, this is organic, healthy giving food. We'll give it to you for nothing, because clearly that's not how the world works. And I'm sure ultimately you really understand that.